My name is Mike Schulte, and I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of flying with the iPad in Civil Air Patrol. To start, if you don't have an iPad or are wondering why would I want one, here's a list of iPad benefits that directly affect pilots. First, you no longer need any paper in your flight bag. Many people like to fly with a paper backup, but if you have more than one iPad in the cockpit or a G1000, many pilots would suggest paper is altogether unnecessary. The iPad saves time in pre-flight planning and debriefing, and we'll go into details on that point in just a moment. Increased accuracy comes with the built-in or external GPS functionality, which also decreases workload, as the iPad can capture what's going on during the flight in real time much better than a pen and paper can. Debriefing capabilities are enhanced through the creation of a GPS track that can be shared with incident command staff or simply shared with a flight student or used to debrief a Form 5 check ride. Documentation is better because it's all in one place and not scattered among notepaper and chicken scratch, and it maintains that documentation historically. All of the time savings and paper replacement mean lower costs over time. As we mentioned, the iPad is a big time saver, and when the pressure's on to get in the air, any minute that can be shaved off pre-flight planning and briefing is a minute that can be spent accomplishing the mission. Now here's a list of tasks that must be completed before every sortie. After an informal review of how much time each of these tasks takes, we came up with an average of 90 minutes of stuff to do using traditional methods for completing these tasks. You may have a different number based on the processes you use. The highlighted items are areas where the iPad can assist. After some practice using the iPad with appropriate apps, the time to complete these drops significantly, by almost 50%. This slide shows visually the impact using this technology can have on your ability to complete per-sortie activities in a timely manner. So what apps do you need to get these kind of results? For weather briefing and route planning, you definitely want ForeFlight, WingX Pro, or Garmin Pilot. The capabilities and how to use these are outside the scope of this briefing, but there's a wealth of documentation, training videos, and marketing for each of these to help you make your decision. I recommend visiting iPadPilotNews.com for independent reviews of these products and others like them. There are a few apps that are specific to Civil Air Patrol, and I'll first discuss CapFlight Pro Sortie Manager. This is the premier app to help complete pre-flight paperwork, track the sortie in flight, and debrief and close out the sortie upon completion. CapFlight Pro is integrated with WMRS 2.0, but also includes a standalone mode to use for training when WMRS is not available. The app has three primary modes. The pre-flight mode walks you through completing the sortie information, briefing, and ORM sections in WMRS. The fly mode tracks the flight and captures significant events during the sortie. The post-flight mode helps close out the sortie by completing a lot of the debrief in WMRS automatically and eases the fuel receipt upload process and recording of flight times. One of the best time-saving features of how the app helps with completing the weight and balance before each sortie. The app has a database of most of the aircraft in the CAP national inventory supplied by the various wings. This information includes the empty weight and CG values, aircraft type, tail number, and call sign. The app pulls the aircraft from WMRS and automatically selects it for the worksheet. The app also contains a database of personnel and automatically pulls the aircrew from WMRS and pre-populates the worksheet with their name and weight information, so a typical weight and balance takes less than 30 seconds. All inputs are touch-friendly, so no typing is required. The app produces a professional weight and balance PDF and saves a photo of it on the iPad, which can easily be uploaded to WMRS directly from within the app. Another popular feature is the ability to take a photo of the fuel receipt. The app then produces a PDF and adds all the sortie information to the document that can be uploaded to WMRS without a PC. For scanners, observers, and ground teams, SARTrack is an excellent choice if WMRS is not required. As mentioned earlier, SARTrack is essentially built into CapFlight Pro and is presented during the flight phase. SARTrack uses the built-in or external GPS signal to track the sortie. It provides a real-time information regarding the location, times, altitude, and heading. When events occur, simply press one of the customizable log buttons to record the event in the mission log that includes the time, location, altitude, heading, and event information. This information is then automatically uploaded to WMRS in CapFlight Pro or can be emailed directly from SARTrack. Another great tool for ground and air crews is CapGrid. This app locates any search grid in seconds and then presents the grid information and coordinates in one of the 4 map views that can be zoomed in or out to study the potential terrain and search considerations before the sortie. It beats paper hands down. The app supports conventional and cell grid formats and covers all 37 sectionals for the entire continental United States. To wrap up, the iPad is an essential tool for all pilots, aircrew, and ground team members. All the apps we discussed run on both iPad and iPhone devices. These apps can reduce pre-flight task time by nearly 50% and helps with documentation of the sortie, including pre-flight, in-flight, and post-flight information. If you have questions or would like more information on any of the apps we discussed, visit goflycap.com or email me at mike.schulte@zero.com. Thanks for viewing this presentation and happy flying.